What you need is on the board for today. And then if you can start your warm-up, we're going to be doing day 1. That should be on page 2 in your notebook. This will be the first one we're doing. Last week we began learning about the periodic table. Yesterday we started atoms and periodic table stations. So kids were rotating through 6 stations.
At the beginning of class, we do a quick mini lesson just talking about breaking down a prompt, task, audience, and purpose. Today you're going to get an opportunity to learn about and write about something that you're interested in.
They're going to pick a current event, and that current event's going to be something government related, and then they're going to relate it back to the essay that we're going into, which is all about how the Constitution guards against tyranny, which for 7th graders is such a a conversational topic, right?
Big question is going to be, how does the Constitution guard against tyranny? Okay, so when I say tyranny, what does that mean?
When the people don't like what the government is doing, like they're trapped.
Stations do lend itself naturally to science when you're doing labs. It is definitely more hands-on. I think it's most engaging for the students. So these are your 6 stations that you're going to be going through over at the boron group. You guys are going to be making a periodic table of candy. The 5th station was creating a periodic table of candy. So they were given pictures of candy and had to figure out how to arrange them based on their characteristics.
What we're going to do today is we're going to create building blocks, literally. I'm going to have them break into their breakout groups. They actually have a choice in which lesson that they want to learn about. There's 4 different topics. Our second topic is the plague in modern times. Our third topic is eating insects at these 2 stations. Once they have chosen their station, then they're going to use that mini lesson that we just did to break down their prompts. But it's in the form of an actual block. They actually write it down on a piece of paper, but it's set up to make a cube. And the neat thing about it is they have to collaborate because it's got to have several paragraphs, and so no one can have the same information. Take your materials and move to the topic you find the most interesting.
So I'll be walking through all of the stations, stopping, listening to their conversations, the dialogue that they're having, listening for anything, maybe if they're having a little misconception, to kind of jump in and maybe question them. Does that make sense then on how you arranged it? Does it make sense when you look down and across?
No.
Yes, hard, soft.
So in other words, how does this relate to this, to these? How do all of these relate together?
Oh.
And then how are these related?
You want us to do that?
Yeah. Oh, this one's a kind of a hard task, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
What is your task?
To write an explanatory essay for your school newspaper about the benefits of using insects as a food source.
Right, that's your task. Okay, so who's your audience? Who's going to care about this?
That's an excellent answer, but what tells us the federal government is going to be in charge of regulating that?
Right here, when it says race in the future.
I will question them, use their team members to kind of maybe help them so it's not directly coming from me, but maybe coming from their peers. And usually the students can sometimes relate it a little bit better in student-friendly terms versus the way I would lead them.
So the period was 11, the column 11, then you would call 1147 as an example. So that would be your element and your element number.
What is our thought process here?
Okay, Martin Luther King Day, Valentine's Day.
Okay, so you're doing it by months. Interesting. So it's kind of a hands-off approach and just kind of watching to see if they're struggling and kind of jump in at that point.
They're going to organize these blocks into the way they would organize them in their essay.
We need to put it in order now, guys.
Well, mine was like they take up less space and they have lots of protein.
And the end goal of what they're going to be doing is they're going to be contacting one of their elected representatives, tell them a little bit about what they've done, looked at the article, and then they're going to ask them the question, how do you think Constitution guards against tyranny?
How are we going to start this off? Who are we talking to first?
Your president.
What did you read about? Maybe you need to tell them, before you tell them anything about solution, you should probably tell them what you read about, right?
When they turn 30, I mean, I don't think they're going to look back and be like, oh, on my second 9 weeks exam, I scored a 85. They're going to know, I went to go vote. I know how to contact my elected official because, something in my neighborhood's not right. So those are those life skills that, is beyond the classroom that they're going to take away from 7th grade, being 12, 13 years old.
So what you're doing right there is you're pulling all these little pieces, all these little bricks out, right? This is what I want you to get used to, is thinking of these peel paragraphs as your building blocks. They don't want to sit and write something down. They want to move, they want to talk, they want to interact. But all of those interactions are pieces to the puzzle of who those students are. And so if you allow them to kind of be their own little puzzle pieces, they'll get up and connect in ways that you probably wouldn't have normally expected.
It's difficult letting go and releasing the kids to do some of the learning on their own and having faith that they will learn those concepts. Since I can't be at every station at one time, I have to trust that they will be on task and that they are monitoring each other. But then they also have to have that trust factor in me that when they need me, I will be there.